Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. I have no idea when this video is coming out, but welcome back to Magic TV. And I'm here with the legend himself, Mr. Thomas Maloney, who has been on a 5x5.
Yes.
He has been on a Talk Magic.
Yes.
He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most average magician in the UK. That's how you actually market yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. We just don't want to waste your money.
Thomas is outstanding. A good friend of mine and absolutely outstanding and unlike me, very likable, which is good. However, what we have here is Thomas has been around the office today, learning how to do illusions because you're getting involved in the Slightly Unusual Illusion show.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're getting so many illusion shows at the moment. We're training Thomas up to be able to do all the illusions, which is amazing. Yeah. And you killed it today, man. You really did. We've actually upgraded him so that on a couple of days' time he's coming back and he's actually doing it on Ryland for real.
Yes.
So, the fact that I'm trusting you with big, massive blades and swords with my 11-year-old son says it all, really, to be honest, mate. But the reason that I'm doing this video, and this might not pan out, this might be the worst video in the world, but I'm going to give it a go. We were talking about Holy Grails and... like, what's your Holy Grail in Magic? What's my Holy Grail in Magic? And I mentioned to Thomas that my Holy Grail, I've kind of solved in a way, because my Holy Grail was to have a blank deck on the table in front of me, have someone name a number, and the card appears at that number, and that was the Quantum deck, obviously. Yeah. And I said to him, have you got a Holy Grail? Have you got a card trick that you've always, or a trick in general, that you've always wanted to do, and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried, and you've never been able to do it? And he said, yes, I have. I said, great, don't tell me. He said, you've got a couple of ideas, a couple of things that you've tried to do that you've not been able to do. One of which is a card trick, one of which is something else. I don't really know what they are. And I thought, the power of... I've always believed that the way to become more creative is sometimes to just sit down and jam ideas out. That helps. Two minds are better than one. So I figured what we try and do is find out what Thomas's Holy Grail is. I'm going to have a crack at seeing if we can come up with a method. And if we have, it's happening live on Magic TV. If we haven't got a method, well, we suck. But at least we're going to give it a go.
Yeah, they'll never see this video.
No. So, Thomas, why don't you tell me, what is your Holy Grail? Well, tell everyone. What's your Holy Grail?
It's a 21 card trick.
So thanks for joining us.
I'm joking. No, it was one of the first card tricks I've seen on an LNL. I think it was an LNL DVD.
Okay.
And it was Harry Lorraine's Gambler versus Magician.
Okay, now there's lots of different variations of Gamblers versus Magician. Can you tell me what the effect was?
Yeah, so I did get it down, but I found it impractical to work it, so I'd never pursued it that much. So you demonstrate that you're going to find a four of a kind, and you're going to give me so many chances. You cut the cards, you shuffle the cards, you turn over a card, you get a queen. You turn over another card, you cut a shuffle, you turn over the card, you get another card, you get the queen again, and you get the queen. And then on the fourth one, it turns out to be an ace. You're like, oh, damn. But then you go, but I'm a magician. And then you turn over the other cards, and they're all aces. So you win. It's like the kicker ending. But then there's another kicker ending where you spread out the cards, and you go, I bet you're thinking all the queens are still in the deck. Are they still in the deck? They're not. And then you go, that's because there's one here, and then produce them from different pockets of your body.
So why is this a Holy Grail for you? Because Harry Lorraine solved that.
Yeah, Harry Lorraine solved it for him because he's awesome. And without going into too much method.
No, we're going to go into method.
Yeah,
right. So I'm going to go into method. But first of all, what was the problem? It was impractical for you.
It was impractical for me because the way he sells it.
From memory, and I am, as everyone in the office continually points out on a regular basis, getting older.
Yeah.
And my memory is not what it used to be. But from memory, the setup with Harry's was alternating aces and kings, right?
Yeah.
And you had those on top of the deck.
Yeah. So apart from the last one, which is where you mess up.
Yes.
So where you mess
and
up.
that was in your pocket. Or was that somewhere else? No, you don't need that one at all, do you?
Yeah, so you don't need one king. One king doesn't matter because you're going to turn it over and you're going to go, oh, an ace. It's okay, all the others are aces.
And then, so that would be in your pocket because you're going to produce that in your pocket. Yeah.
So okay. He had dupes. This was.
Oh right, okay. He had dupes. Oh, okay.
In his pockets. So what had happened was, He used to demonstrate it by getting a brand new deck, undoing the deck, shuffling the deck, and then culling the cards to where they needed to be. Okay. Which to me, that was a heavy setup for me at the time.
Yeah.
Which still is. And then...
Well, you're not going to want to open up a deck every single time.
No, but the main thing is I wanted to find out a way I could do it in a strolling environment and then have like...
without the dupes and all of that stuff. So you've got... So you just to go through what Harry's was, you had 4 dupes in your pockets.
Yeah.
So we don't need... You're right, you don't need that king, so let's just get rid of that for a minute. And you did some... Once you either have it set up or, like you say, you cull it from a new deck.
Yeah.
And from memory, it was...
You're going to find a 4 of a kind.
Yeah, so you do a full cut of whatever type you want.
Yeah.
You do a double lift and you go, right, okay, there's the king, so I'll try and find the 4 kings. And then it's a case of doing slip cuts, isn't it? So you do, because you're slip cutting the kings back into pat. No, you're not. You're double undercutting them to the bottom because you're going to need to cut them off at the end, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's coming back to me now. So you do that and then you do another one and you go, there's the second king, that's the king of hearts. Let's see if we can do it again. If I cut in just the right place, cutty. That would be the third king, the king of clubs. That one goes over there. And then the last one, you say, look, the last one, we'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3. And I got an ace. Oh, I suck. Don't I suck? I suck so badly. And then you get rid of those, like with copying them or something. And
I think he copped them from memory.
Yeah, but you get rid of them somewhere, don't you? You get rid of them in some way. You could easily cop them into your back pocket.
Yeah.
Or, at that point, he didn't say that, but you could just get rid of the box and get rid of them that way. Whatever. The point is, you say, well, I tell you what, it wasn't about cutting to the kings, it was about cutting to the aces. You show that you've got the 4 aces, and then when you go into your pockets, you bring out the dupes, and you got the 4 dupes.
Yeah, I think what he does, he spreads the cards and goes, I know what you're thinking, I've got more. They examine them, and then you go,
the kings on.
So I always keep this one here, and then I think it's very kicker at the end. He goes into his wallet, and then goes, and I keep my favourite one in the wallet. Yeah.
So, right. So you want to try and do that.
Like streamline it.
From a shuffle deck in use. Realistically. Goal. When you're creating something, we're not really creating here. What we're kind of doing is we're making something our own.
Yeah.
We're taking something that we find impractical to do because of whatever scenario, and we're coming up with a better way of doing it. And be completely honest with me here, because if we aren't honest with each other, then we've got nothing. So let's see if we can work this out together. Yeah. So, you want to do it, ideally, from a shuffle deck of cards in use, or as close to a shuffle deck of cards as possible. So you've got a shuffle deck, you don't have duplicates, the cards are lost in the deck, and you want to be able to do that same thing. So you've got the moment of, right, okay. So if you're going to eliminate the duplicates in the pockets, there's 2 problems with this. The first problem is, if you're cutting to aces and you're cutting to kings, for example, you need to have the kings and the aces set up. If, however... Okay, so that's the first problem, because you're going to need a setup in order to find the kings and the... In order to do something with the kings and the aces, you're going to have the kings and the aces set up in that alternating thing, right? And the other problem is, obviously, if you're going to have them go into 4 different pockets, you either have to do some incredible shifts and palming and be like Di Vernon's love child, or you're going to have to use duplicates like Harry did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's solve this. Right, so first of all, I find a lot of the time, some things like this can be solved with presentation.
Yeah.
So let's just, for a second, imagine that we're not using the aces and the queens. It's a much easier setup. I know you don't want to set up at all, but it's a much easier way to set up a trick if you're just using 1 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you've got the problem of you haven't got the kicker, but we'll get back to that in a minute. I think I've got a solution for that. Yeah. But first of all, it's a much easier setup if you're not using aces and... Because that's an 8-card setup, right? So what about if...
And that's what I tried to avoid, an 8-card setup.
Yeah, so what about if we said... if we built a presentation into us that allows us to take the aces out of the deck. So I'd start by saying, let me show you why people don't want to play cards with me. Do you want to give the cards a shuffle? Because if you were playing cards with me, or we're in a casino, or we're just playing at home, you'd have the cards shuffled, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So let's just shuffle the cards, and remember, when you've shuffled them, you always have to cut. Now, if I was going to have a hand in my hand, if I was going to play cards with you and I wanted a good hand, would you agree that 4 of a kind would be a really good hand to have?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is the best 4 of a kind to have? It'd be the aces, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is, with you shuffling these cards, if I wanted the aces, the only way for me to do that is to spread through and take them out. And that would take a while. I mean, if I was going to spread through and I was going to take out the 4 aces, it would probably take, well, apparently 3 of them together there, so not that bad. It would take about 10 or 15 seconds, right? But that's with me spreading them face up. That's with me spreading the deck face up and looking for the aces, right? Let's just separate them so they're in 4 different parts of the deck. But think about this for a minute. If I was doing it with the cards face down, and I was taking the cards, and again, the cards are shuffled, and I was going through the cards and trying to take 4 cards face down out of the deck, well, that now would take potentially forever, because I'm not going to know what card's which. It would be blind luck. I might never be able to get the four aces. Yeah. Now, what we've just done in that scenario is we've actually brought the 4 aces to the top. And I think presentationally, that's a logical way to get those 4 aces to the top without having to cull them through. So what we've done here is we've solved the problem of, I mean, we haven't got the necessary setup, but we've got 4 cards to the top from a shuffled deck. And you tell me what you think. I think presentationally saying, well, you know what, 4 aces would be a good hand to get. Yeah. Going through and taking out the 4 aces would take quite a while. Yeah. And then doing that, you know this shift, obviously. Yeah. This is a classic shift. I first learnt this from vacuum cleaner cards. But if you, so you do the shift here and you say, of course, you know, with the aces in the deck, let me just shuffle them in again, with the aces in the deck, and if I had to go through face down and take the 4 aces out face down without looking at the faces, it could take me potentially forever. Now I've got the 4 aces on top, which is part of the problem solved, but not completely the problem solved. And I think presentationally, we then say, so instead of using 4 aces, we'll have you pick 4 cards, and those 4 cards, they'll be the hand that you've got to have.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be the hand that you've got to have.
Yeah. So
now, I'm going to get 4 people to pick cards. So 4 people are going to pick cards. Let's just take any 4 cards. So four people pick cards, right? And you tell them to look at them and you say, those 4 cards, that's going to be our poker hand. That's the hand that we want to have. I want you to imagine, I don't know what those 4 cards are, but I want you to imagine that that is the perfect poker hand. Yeah. Okay? So now, I think what we need to do here is put one of the aces to the bottom. So we've got 3 aces. No, let's just ignore me for a minute. All 4, I'm working this through as I go. So 4 aces are on top, right? Yeah. You control the 4 cards to the pack. So you might want to, however you want to do it, you might want to say, look, put your card back, put your card back, put your card back, put your card back. So you take the 4 aces off the 4 people, and you apparently cut them and shuffle them into the pack.
Yeah.
So now we have 4 aces, 4 cards, and 4 aces. But we've said that I want you to imagine blah blah blah. You get the idea. So now you get a break underneath 4 cards, which are the 4 selections. Actually, no, you'd control those to the bottom. You wouldn't control them to the top. You control them to the bottom. So however you want to do it, you control them to the bottom. It might be a cull. Yeah. It might be something like that, but you control them. You control them to the bottom. And you say, look, I'm going to take these cards and I'm going to cut them roughly in half. So I'm going to take this half here, and I think this would be about half here. Would you agree? Yeah. Half and half. Now, what I just did there is I shuffled those 4 selected cards to the top. So they were at the bottom. So by cutting, I could even get you to cut. I could say, cut the deck into 2 halves, try to make them as equal as possible. Okay, so that's about half here and about half here. And if I just run those 4, as I apparently just give them a shuffle, they're going to go to the bottom. Now, if we give these a perfect Faro shuffle, but we just have to perfect Faro shuffle the top cards, they would be convinced that those cards would be lost in the pack.
Yeah.
But in reality, we've got an ace and the first selection, an ace and a second selection, an ace and a third selection, and an ace and a fourth selection. Well, now we're in a situation where we can go into that.
Yeah.
Because we've told them that the four aces, so we've told them that that's going to be their perfect poker hand. If anything, it's a little bit more impressive now because we're using their selected cards. So you apparently cut or do whatever you want to do, and you say 6. Did someone pick a 6? Was 6 one of the poker hands?
Yeah.
Yes, it was the 6 of clubs. Brilliant. And now you put that there, and that's an ace. Now you double undercut. So you're using the same sequence that Harry used in his routine now. So you're now double undercutting the card to the bottom, and you say, let me see if I can find the second one. The 9, was that one that was part of your poker hand? It was. Well, this is why people don't play cards with me, Thomas, because look, I mean, each time I cut to a card, it gets harder and harder and harder because there's only 2 left in a deck of 50 cards, but I think I got the 4 of hearts. That would be that one. And the last one, we're going to cut that to the bottom as well. And obviously this is where you get the ace.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, hang on, the last one wasn't an ace, was it? And they go, no. Now here's what we're going to do here. Here's what we're going to do. The last one's not an ace. That wasn't the card, was it? No, but I can fix this. Watch if I take this. And no, hang on. No, it would have to be. No, hang on. We're trying to cut to the. Yeah, we cut. Oh yeah. No, it would be an ace. Yeah, it would be an ace. Sorry, it would be an ace. It would be an ace. So the last one is an ace. That's right. So the last one's an ace. Sorry. You then double undercut the cards again. And we'll work out what to do with those in a minute. You double undercut those cards again, and you have that moment where you go boom, and you get the 4 aces. And that'll be a real surprise because you reference the 4 aces at the beginning, and now they've come back at the end. That, I think, fixes that problem. Yeah. But then you've got the problem with the cards not going into the 4 different pockets. And I would suggest to you,
Winding yourself up.
How about this? How about we get to the point, and I'm sure this is not mine. I'm sure I saw somebody else do this. But why don't we do this? So we've got to the point where we've done the Faro shuffle.
Yeah.
And we've got those 8 cards set up there, yeah? So you could push off 2, 4, 6. You could get a break underneath these. And what I'm thinking here is if I do a Browy reversal like this, so I say, well, now I've got no idea where your cards are. I've reversed those cards at the bottom, right? I've reversed the cards on the bottom. So now, if I do you know the Tenkai optical reverse? If you do a Tenkai optical reverse here at this point, and you say, to make it even harder on myself, I'll shuffle the cards face up into face down. Now they're going to see an ace there. That's not a problem.
No.
You know, they saw the aces getting shuffled into the pack, so I don't think that's an issue there. But now you say, now it's even harder because we've got face-up cards, and we've got, you know, you wouldn't do that because you'd see the ace twice, but you could turn it over that way, and you say, we've got face-up cards, we've got face-down cards, blah, 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 blah. And what you do, in the natural break, you'd cut this to the bottom as you show that there's cards face up and there's cards face down. So now it looks like the cards are being mixed face up into face down. But now you do the double undercut from the bottom. So you say, look, if I cut in just the right spot, I get an ace, which is quite hard because there's face up cards, there's face down cards, and I don't know whether your cards are face up or face down, but every single time I cut, I get an ace. That's the second one. Let's see. Oh no, but you wouldn't be getting the aces, would you? Oh no, no, you wouldn't be getting the aces. Ignore me. It's the other way around. Yeah. So the setup would have to be. Sorry. The setup would have to be the setup that we had before, wouldn't it? Which is that order. That order. That's the setup. Is that right? Yeah, with the ace on the top. So. Oh, no, you'd have to do the faro the other way. You'd have to do the faro the other way. You'd have to have it this way, so the ace is second from top.
Okay.
And the reason you'd have to do that is because then when you get the break under 8 cards and you do the Bowery reversal and you say, look, I'm going to try and cut to the 4 cards that you picked. But first of all, I'm going to shuffle them face up into face down. Hang on a minute. So you shuffle them like this. You do the 10th Kai optical reverse, shuffling them face up into face down, like this. And then you'd go to the natural break here. Go to the natural break. Boom. Cut. No, it's still going to be the ace. No, the ace would be on top. I'm sorry. Sorry about this. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the ace would have to be on top. That's right. Okay, so the ace would have to. Is that what I had before? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The ace would be on top. So then, when you do the Bowery reversal like that, yeah, okay. You do the Bowery reversal. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You do the yeah, you do. No, because you can't. Hang on. The ace would have to be. Yeah, the ace has to be on top. So when you do the Bowery reversal like this, it's set up the correct way. But the problem is then they're going to see a 6. But that's not really too much of an issue. If you don't look at it, if you just do this and you say, look, I'm going to shuffle the cards face up into face down, do you think it's an issue that they see one of their selected cards at this point?
No, I don't think so, because,
I don't think it is.
Especially if you get them all to pick the cards. And
they don't know what cards they've picked, yeah.
Yeah, if they don't know what other people have picked, yeah. But then, it's...
Because now we're in a situation where we're going to get the foot, unless we do it this way. Hang on, let's go back to this. Give me 1 minute. So let's go back to this point. So we're here. The ace is on top, which is what we need. That's good. So if we did it like this, would that work? If we kind of did the, or is that too convoluted? It's probably a bit too convoluted. What about if we, you got the 8 cards here, only 8 cards. If I just cut 8 cards and cut some more, and cut some more, and then said, look, I'm going to shuffle these face up. No, because I need them together on the bottom. That wouldn't work. That's not clever. Okay. Maybe if we do it like this. Okay, so we're going to have to do it like this. Unless we do a Krenzel mechanical reverse that covers the thing, and then we bring them here. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. And then, there you go. Right, okay, solved it. Right, okay, got it. So, got it. Okay, so you'd have ace card, ace card, ace card, ace card. That's on top, yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, brilliant. So that's on top. And you say, I've got no idea where your cards are. It could be anywhere. You get a break into the 8 cards. You turn the cards over. You do a Krenzel mechanical reverse, which reverses those 8 cards on the bottom. Or you could do a brow reversal to get to that point. It makes no difference. You get to that point somehow. But then rather than do it, because I don't like them seeing the selected card, rather than doing that, you say, I'm going to shuffle these cards in a very particular way. And you cut. So what you're doing here is you've got a break. Look at this, Thomas. You've got a break with your thumb above those bottom 8 cards. So you cut half the cards over, put that and transfer that to a little finger break. Now you complete the cut, and now we've reversed the 8 cards on the bottom in order. So now we can do a 10K optical reverse, but they're not going to see the card. It's going to look like we're shuffling the cards face up into face down, which is awesome, like that. And we can get that really nice display here, and we're not going to flash the same card twice. Now we can turn everything over, and it's just going to work itself. So you do this, 1, 2, 3, and you get the first card. Do the double turnover, put that down on the table. Do another double undercut or whatever it is that you're going to do to that point, and you get the second card, and that one card goes down on the table. You then do another double undercut, whatever you want to do, boom, and that one there. And what's nice is they're seeing face up and face down cards as you're cutting, so it's kind of almost like just selling that. And then the last one, you just cut one card to the top, and you go, look, 2 cuts this time, and you're here. So that's there. Now what you've done is, that's there, and yeah, so you go, that's the ace, and by cutting at that point, which card's this? The 6. Why is there a 6 there? Oh, that would have been the, hang on a minute. So, hang on. We're in that situation. We're going to run through all this in a minute, and it'll all make sense. Have you got any input on this? Do you see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So we show we do the cut, and we show the first one, and the first one is the 6, right?
Yeah.
And we put that away like that. You then undercut, blah, 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 blah. You show the second one, that one goes there. Perfect. You do another undercut of the next card, turnover, that's the 3, that one goes there. No, because they're at the bottom, aren't they? Ignore me. Ah! I'm sorry, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. These were the cards, weren't they? Were those the cards? Let's just pretend these were the cards. Yeah, okay, sorry. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so they're at the bottom like that. But they're not in, yeah, they are in that order. So you cut from the bottom to the top to get the first card, and that one goes there, so that stays on top. You then grab the second one, give a couple of cuts, that one's there, that one goes there. And then you take the third one, boom, boom, that one goes there. And the last one is an ace, correct?
Yeah.
And that one goes there. Now, that is reversed there. So you've got the ace. What you want to do is you want to reverse all of these as well. But they think the cards are mixed up, so that's not a hard thing to do, because all you're going to do is you're going to do a brow reversal, and you're going to show that, hang on, because here's the thing, what we've got is we've got that moment right there, right? But what I want to have happen, oh, I'll tell you what we can do. I'll tell you what we can do. You can cut the deck and you can snap, and you say, because you're probably wondering where your cards are, the 4 cards. Well, if I snap my fingers, all of the cards sort themselves out, except for one in the middle of the pack, the 4 of hearts. Was that your card? Yeah, was that one of your cards? Yes, it was. Well, hang on a second. You're probably wondering where the other 3 are. If I snap my fingers, you get the other 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that ending. I love the fact that you've sorted the triumph out. Yeah. But could you do a Browy reversal here instead?
I think what would be nice is if you had them all at once, like you've sorted them all out, but all their selections are face up.
Okay. Okay, so you just do a crisp twist at that point. Yeah. You just do a crisp twist.
Everyone would be staring at this because
and you just do a crisp twist at the moment, and you'd say, of course, the problem is that doesn't help me find your cards, because your cards are lost in the pack. They really are. You know, the cards are face up and face down. But if I snap my fingers,
yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah.
And if this was possible,
yeah,
if there was a way of palming one of them and go, oh, but there's one missing. You go, oh, that's because I always keep that one in my wallet or in my pocket.
Okay.
You could, and then you've got that.
So you're in this situation where you've got 3 face down the top, 1 face up at the bottom. So that one could be copped.
Yeah.
So you could, in essence, do that crisp twist. You've got all the time in the world because they're turning those cards over right there. And you say, of course, that, you know, I mean, the problem we've got is we've got some cards face up, we've got some cards face down, you've got face up cards, you've got face down cards, cards face up, cards face down, cards are mixed up throughout the whole of the deck. But I tell you what I'll try and do is I'll try and fix all of these cards, except for yours, and you do this, and you show that 3 of them have turned over.
Yeah.
And you say, that's 3. It's not your... not your last one though, but do you know why? That's of course your last one was in my...
Yeah, wherever you want to put it. Yeah, I like that, yeah.
So, in essence, let me see if I can perform it, see if we can remember it, yeah?
I'm liking it though.
Michael's laughing behind the camera. I don't know, it's... this is what I love doing, just coming up with ideas. Right, okay.
Do this more often.
Let's see if we can do this. Right, okay, so Thomas, do you ever gamble? Do you ever play cards?
Occasionally, only with friends.
Yeah, you know what? I when I was younger, I used to do this a lot. I used to go to casinos and stuff. Not so much these days. But people don't play cards with me. And the reason is, I'm a magician. I cheat for a living, right?
Yeah.
But let me explain how to cheat at cards. Would you like to know how to cheat at cards?
I'd love to know.
There's certain things that you need to be able to do. Okay? And first of all, shuffle the cards just so you know they're in no particular order. Give the cards a shuffle, give them a mix-up. And when you finish shuffling, give them a cup, because everybody knows they've got a cup pack. Now, universally, it doesn't matter what card game you play. It could be poker, it could be pontoon, it could be blackjack, whatever. Typically, a 4 of a kind is a good hand to have, right? If you get four cards that are the same, and if you're going to get a 4 of a kind, the best 4 of a kind to get are the 4 aces.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, a deck of cards, there are so many possible combinations with a deck of cards. You ever heard of 52 factorial? It basically means that a deck of cards, it's a number followed by, I think, 84 zeros.
Yeah.
And that's the probability of a deck of cards being in the same position again. Okay. Like, when you shuffle this deck of cards, it will never be in that same position ever again. So the chances of being able to find the 4 aces in the middle of a card game are next to none. Right? Like, thank you. Let's say I wanted to find the 4 aces. I just do it. No, if I want to find the 4 aces, I would have to go through the deck. And I would have to take out the 4 aces like this. There's no real other way to do it, you see. You'd have to go through, find the 4 aces, take them out. That takes about 15 seconds. But the other thing is, if you're playing cards and the other players see you just spreading through the deck face up and looking for the 4 aces and putting them down in front of you, I've got a feeling that they're not going to be too happy playing cards with you, because obviously they're going to know that you're cheating. So... what you have to do is you have to work out a way of being able to keep track of the cards that you need in your hand. Even though they're shuffled into the pack and you have someone cut and you have someone shuffle, you need to be able to keep track of them, right? Now, obviously, we're not going to use the 4 aces. We're going to make it even harder on me. I'm going to have you take 4 cards out. Now, the 4 cards that you take, it could be a good poker hand, it could be a terrible poker hand, it could be a good pontoon hand, blackjack hand, whatever. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that you have 4 random cards that I don't know about. So I'm spread through the deck. Just grab any 4 cards out that you want. It doesn't really matter which ones. And the important thing is to remember them. You can show them to the camera if you want to. Just don't show them to me. And we'll pop them into 4 different places. So do me a favour, just say stop.
Stop.
That's great. Pop the first one back there. And just say stop.
Stop. That's
higher up. Great. Put the second one back there. Third one, say stop.
Stop.
That's lower down. Put the third one there. And one final time.
Stop.
Perfect. Excellent. Now, I have no idea. Can you remember those cards? Very important you remember them, because later on, if I manage to actually pull this off and you go, I don't know, are they? It's not quite impressive, okay? Now we're going to give these a really good mix up, and there's lots of different ways to shuffle a deck of cards. You've probably seen people shuffle like this. This is called a waterfall shuffle. You'll see a lot of magicians. Well, actually, that was not a waterfall shuffle. That was a riffle shuffle. What makes a waterfall shuffle is when you do that bit at the end, right? And then obviously you've got fancy cuts and things like that. Another shuffle that a lot of people will use. You've probably heard of this. It's called the Hindu shuffle. It's also known as the underhanded shuffle, or the politician shuffle, because just like politicians, it's underhanded. It doesn't really matter. We'll give them a really special shuffle as well. Can you take about half the cards for me? About half the cards, would that be okay? That's amazing. You did that so well.
Oh, thank you.
Goosebumps, seriously.
Oh.
You did that really well. And you did that so well, I forgot to double undercut the 4 cards to the bottom. So we're going to get you to do it again. Just I forgot to cut them in just the right spot. There we go. You want to cut them about halfway? That's great. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Still got goosebumps, it's all good. That's an overhand shuffle. You've probably seen one of these before. And what I will do is I'll give them one more shuffle. This is, this one here is called a Pharaoh shuffle. And the reason it's called a Pharaoh shuffle is because you get all of the cards alternated like that. It's like a fancy shuffle. You can push them together if you want to. Now, one thing that you have to learn when you're doing this sort of thing, you have to master the art of shuffle tracking. Have you heard of shuffle tracking before? It basically means keeping track of things while you're shuffling. And to make it even harder for myself, and that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it really hard for myself right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cards and I'm going to shuffle them face up into face down, if that's okay. So I'm going to take, we'll give them a cut, just like this. And then I'll take the cards and I'll shuffle half of the cards, get the right spots. Here we go, half the cards face up into half the cards face down. There's a technical term for this. It's called a mess, and I've realized that I've done that wrong, so let me just do it a little bit this way. There we go. I want you to see that these cards really are shuffled face up into face down. So when you go through the cards, you can see there's face up cards, there's face down cards. These cards are mixed face up into face down. So now with all of these cards mixed face up into face down, I have to try and find your poker hand. I have to try and cut to your poker hand. Very, very difficult because the cards have been shuffled face up into face down. Not only do I not know where your cards are, I don't know whether they're face up or face down, but if I cut in the right spot, this is cut 3 times, once, twice, 3 times, I get a jack of diamonds. Was that one of the cards?
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, every time I cut to a hot card, it gets a little bit harder. And the reason it gets a little bit harder is because every single time you cut to a card, there's less cards to cut to. So now I get the 4 of diamonds. Was that your card?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's 2. Let's see if we can do it again. Let's see if we can go in just the right spot. There's only 2 cards left now, and 50 cards in the deck. Only 2 cards that I need. But a 6 of hearts. Did I do good? Did I do good?
I think so.
Good. And then the last one, the final one, would be right here. 3 cuts. Once, twice, 3 cuts, and I got an ace. Did you get an ace?
No.
There's a technical term for this. It's called a mistake or a cock up. I'll tell you what, hold your hand out for me. If I told you, put your other hand on top. If I told you that I could take my fingers and snap my fingers and turn that into the final card from a deck of cards that's been shuffled face up into face down, would that be good?
That would be impressive.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I'm going to try. Watch. Have a look.
No.
Yeah, that would have been good. That'd be impressive. It would be more impressive if I did that. You know why? Because when I do that, what actually happens is that these cards turn into the other 3 aces. So you're probably wondering, well, that's pretty impressive, right? But hang on a minute, where are my cards? Because they were there a second ago, right? Well, let me tell you, what I didn't tell you is in my back pocket, I do keep 1 card and 1 card only. And with any luck, that's the 1 card that I didn't cut to, which would be the 5 of spades. Would that be your card?
That would be my card.
Here's the thing, though. I understand how that works. That's me spending years learning how to do magic, sleight of hand with playing cards and shuffle tracking and switches without you realising. What I'll never understand is how I can take that card, wave it over the deck, wait a second, and those cards that we shuffle face up into face down, now they're all facing the right way with 3 cards in 3 different parts of the deck. That would be the 6 of hearts, that would be the 4 of diamonds, that would be the Jack of diamonds, and that, Thomas, is why you don't want to play cards with me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's annoying that you just come up with that in what, 20 minutes.
Does that work?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
There's only one bit I didn't like. It felt a bit awkward when I was doing the reverse card sequence. That's the only bit. I was feeling a bit awkward about that. That's the only thing. What did you think of that, Michael?
I thought it was good.
Was that all right? The only thing I didn't like was I felt a bit awkward reversing those cards. It felt a bit. Maybe it didn't look. Did it look clunky? No. Did it look clunky?
No, I thought it was all right.
When I was setting up for the optical reverse, it didn't feel like it should have done. It felt a bit off, but maybe it's just me. That's the only thing that I'd want to clean up a little bit. I'm thinking if we did, if we do another one of those Chris twists. So you know I was doing like a thing.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, so we've got the cards on top here. I won't perform it again, but if we have the cards on top and we do the Chris twist at this point, that cleans up all of those moves. Because now if I leave the box here, I've got it facing the wrong way, but I can just move the box out the way, a bit like I did in Cheeky.
Yeah.
And now I've got it the right way. So now I'm straight into that sequence. Because before, if you think about it, it was a bit clunky because I had to get a break under 8 cards. I had to do a Bowery reversal. Then I had to get the natural break. Then I had to cut. Then I had to bring my hands up here like this. Then I had to cut again. Then I had to cut again. Then I had to come down here. And even then I fucked it up. Just to get the cards in the right position. And that's a bit clunky. But if we had the box here, and when you get to the point that you've done the Pharaoh shuffle, if you just literally say, so, you know, these cards mix face up into... Sorry, these cards are... I have no idea where your 4 of a kind is. I've got no idea where those 4 cards are. Do the Chris twist, which is perfect, and then just say, so I'm going to show you right now. But first of all, let me give the cards one last shuffle. And now I'm into the same sequence. I'm into the same move, but literally all I've had to do is move the box out of the way. And one of the things I try to do when I create or when I'm trying to put anything together is think of economy of motion. Like you said to me the other day, what I love about that that we were talking about Evoke, I think, and you were like, most of the stuff is self-working. There's no moves in it. And that's what I try to do. I try to eliminate all the moves. First of the time you put something together like this and it becomes very movie and there's a lot of stuff to do. But if you can try and eliminate those moves, so when you've got to a sequence that you're happy with, and this is the perfect example, rather than doing brow reversal, cut, bring it up here to hide the cut. If we literally just do a Chris twist and put it down there, you're into exactly the same position, but with one move. One move and you're into that same position. The mistake I made there, by the way, is I shuffled too high. So I actually shuffled face up into face up, which would have screwed everything up. Sorry, face up into face down. So the other thing I need to remember is to bring those down here a little bit. It still looks good from your point of view, but it means that, it's a little bit cleaner. But yeah, does that solve it?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. I think I'd get them to sign the cards as well.
The beautiful thing about this is you could get them to sign it. And the nice thing is at the end, when I'm sure you picked up on this, but this kind of came to me as I was doing it. You've got the 3 aces here. This is the last ace, you've made a mistake. You've got 3 aces face down there, and you've got this one face up at the bottom. That's the situation you find yourself in. So I did the Chris twist as I put this in. I said, hold your hand out, and I put this in the hand. Can you turn it over? Everyone's attention is there as they turn it over, and that's when you do the move. That's when you do the first move. So now you've got all of those reversed on the bottom, and so they turn it over, and you put the hand on it, and I'm literally doing the slip cut as I say. Remember, you cut face up, you cut face down, you cut face up, you cut face down, and I'm doing this slip cut here, apparently showing face up and face down cards, but I'm distributing those 3 cards into the middle. But the nice thing is, the one card that you didn't get, and if you get 4 people to pick cards, they'll remember that, is the one that's still on the face. It's the one that's still here. So I copped it in that performance, but to be honest, you could just palm it off. here, and that's all happening while their focus is over there. So then when they turn that over, you've got this moment here, boom, and then you've got this where you can go into your pocket and you can pull out the final one, and they think that's the trick over. There's multiple climaxes, and everybody loves multiple climaxes. Sorry. They came across really creepy, way creepier than that. I hope Scott Perry's not watching this. He's like, Greg Petty is saying stuff on the internet. So you've got you've got that there. Then you've got this, and then you've got that moment where all of these turn face up. And then you've sorted the cards out so they're all facing the right way, and you've got the 3 selections in 3 different parts of the deck as well.
And because you don't know which one it is, you can then say to them, what was your card? And then he says, whatever it is.
Oh, you couldn't have picked that card because this one's in my pocket.
Card. I always keep that in my wallet.
I had it signed by a guy whose signature's just like yours. Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's cool. You need to put that on the Netflix.
Well, no, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge you now to learn this and perform it to Jack when you come in on Monday. You've got to perform this trick.
Okay.
On Monday to Jack.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get him to rate it. Now, we'll have to catch Jack on a good take because we are convinced that he's eating plastic dip sandwiches for his lunch. Like, genuinely. So he might be high when you come in. But seriously, I want you to learn that. I want you to learn that for... unless you've got any improvements that you want to make. I mean, it'll improve over time, but I mean, the MO was, the thing was, take a shuffled deck of cards and do Gamblers versus Magician.
Will this be uploaded before Monday?
We could do.
Could you upload it before Monday so I've got a point of reference to learn it? 'Cause it's a lot to take in.
You know what? Could we upload this tonight?
What time is it?
2 o'clock. It's
3.
It's an easy edit. You just put an intro and an outro.
Yeah, we'll try to do it for tonight.
Yeah.
What have we got tonight? It's at the Inside the Magician Studio.
Yeah.
We can put that off till next Friday.
What's inside the Magician Studio?
Oh, it's a new video that's going up. You would have seen it, but now you've fucked that up, haven't you? You would have had a nice evening watching a new video that we've spent time. Nice 1 hour video. It's a lovely video. It's a great video.
I just realised you're sending me to London tomorrow. Then I'm busy.
Sucks to be Thomas.
I know. He'll lay off to work.
Sorry.
No. I've got like 5 gigs and I've got to go.
Are they all ours?
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, I'll do it.
You got to learn this as well, though. Yeah.
I've got to practice the illusions.
Yes, you do, because you're going to be.
And I've got to learn how to drive a van.
Yes, you have. You've got to learn how to drive a van. But you're going to be. We will put this up tonight, and when I say we, I mean Michael. If you can get this ready for Monday.
Yeah.
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 Okay, we can do it.
Sorry, Holly.
One thing I will say is, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the greatest creator in the world, but one thing that I do when I have a problem, I do this a lot. Like I get asked by a lot of companies to take somebody's trick and go, right, okay, create some routines with it. And one thing that I try and do is I try and go, right, okay, so what is the problem here?
Yeah.
And you figure out what the problem is. And the problem in this case is you didn't want a setup, and the trick required a setup, and you needed duplicates in the trick, and you didn't want to have duplicates.
And by a free trick that you've got involved in there as well is you've got 4 people involved.
Exactly.
It's not just a demonstration anymore. It's you're getting people involved as well.
Exactly. And so, but that was done more out of, not out of design. It's a happy
accident.
Yeah, because the key thing is, it's kind of like, right, how do we eliminate a setup?
Yeah.
Well, we can't eliminate a setup if we're doing 2 4 of a kinds.
Yeah.
We can eliminate a setup if we're using 1 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
Because we can take that 4 of a kind out in presentation, or you've just done a 4 of a kind trick, you apparently put them into the middle. Either way, it's easy to get a 4 of a kind to the top. By having those 4 selections, that replaces your second 4 of a kind. And so that eliminates the setup almost completely. And then the second part is, how do you get a moment that's as strong as 4 cards going in 4 different pockets? If you can't use duplicates, well, that's where the triumph comes in.
Yeah.
By adding a face up and a face down shuffle, you're adding an extra moment to that routine. You're adding more. From the spectator's point of view, it becomes more impossible. Not only are the cards shuffled in the pack, but they're shuffled face up into face down.
Yeah.
That becomes more impossible. But from our point of view, it gives us, and I would argue that is better than 4 cards going into 4 different pockets that aren't signed. Yeah. Because now you've got that moment where the cards are being shuffled face up into face down. Each card that you're cutting to, it solidifies the fact that these cards are face up and face down. You've still got that lovely moment that you want to, the gambler versus magician moment where you go boom, but then you've got that moment where the 3 cards are in 3 different parts of the deck and the last card's in the pocket, which solves the other problem that you came up with. So it's kind of like when you're doing something like this, identify the problems first of all, and then think about what solution. Take those problems one at a time. So I wasn't even thinking about the duplicates. We got to the point first of all where we were fixing the 4 of a kind and the setup. When you fix the setup, then you go, okay, well we've got that moment, but how do we then how do we fix the duplicates?
Yeah, because I was looking at it too broad. I was like, oh, it's a heavy setup. But then I wasn't actually thinking, but what's heavy about the setup, and didn't break it down into 2 4 of a kinds. I just thought about having to control 8 cards, and that's not the way you should think about it, controlling 8 cards.
Yeah. So. I will say one other thing as well. I don't know how good you are at Faro. If you're no good at Faro, when you get to
the top cards, though, isn't it?
I'll give you. Yeah, it's only the top 4 cards, but just to give anybody a tip if they want to try this. So they've cut them into 2 halves, and you do that shuffle at the bottom, which brings those to the top. 2 options here. The first option is you do a Faro. Now, the reason I had to have 2 goes of the Faro is because I wasn't thinking, and I did an in Faro and not an out Faro. So the first time I'd done a perfect Faro, but what I did is I did it this way, which meant that the top card was one of the selections. If you're going to do a Faro, make sure that the top card is make sure it's the out Faro, so the top card comes from there, like that. But if you can't do a Faro, I would get to this point where they've cut the cards and you've shuffled these. And notice in the presentation, by the way, I was talking about different shuffles.
Yeah.
That gives me a reason for
just do that, couldn't you?
doing it. Well, I was going to say, you could do this. You could say, now another shuffle that people use is this. But in all honesty, that takes too long. Because you're only needing to do it with 8 cards.
Yeah.
But that is going to achieve exactly the same thing. So you don't need to Faro. You could just say because the presentation is, and this is this would be a good trick to channel your inner Wayne Goodman and have like a million terrible jokes. You know, there's so many terrible joke shuffles. Have you ever seen the Procrastinator Shuffle?
No.
I'll leave it for later. Have you seen the Texas Shuffle? Takes us a long time. Have you seen the Leicester Shuffle?
No.
Oh, when you put those cards down there, there's Leicester Shuffle. Have you seen the South American Shuffle?
No.
One revolution after another. You ever seen the Russian Shuffle? Cards are rushing after each other. You ever seen the... you a football fan?
No.
You a football fan?
Oh, really?
Pretend you're a football fan.
Okay.
Are you a football fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, what team do you support?
Chelsea.
Have you ever seen the Chelsea Shuffle?
No.
I'll show it you. Doesn't really do much, to be honest. But
Oh, I call it the ex-wife. Looks
That
good,
works.
does nothing.
that works as well. The point this is, a lot of those speciality jokey shuffles don't do anything. Like you can tell. So this is definitely a place to channel your inner Wayne Goodman, embrace terrible jokes, and you know, have that moment where they're all being shuffled, because then that's justified. So when you get to this point and they've cut the cards into 2 piles, it justifies the fact that you're shuffling this packet because you're talking about this. It then justifies, have you ever seen this shuffle? You know, it's kind of a weird one. I've seen people use it before, but in all honesty with you, it takes too long, so we won't use that one. And just that moment there will replace the Faro Shuffle if you don't want to do a Faro Shuffle.
Yeah.
And then if you just do the Chris Twist at that moment under the 8 cards, if you just do the Chris Twist, that is the reason then to say, let me show you the weirdest shuffle of the lot. And so you put those down there. Let me show you the weirdest shuffle of the lot, which is this one, which is where you take the cards face up into face down, and you know, it's called a mess. You do your optical reverse and you're into the routine, because now you've got that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to see we'll put it up as a Magic Live. We'll put Thomas doing this as a Magic Live. We'll call it Tommy Live or something like that. And we'll put that up as a Magic Live after this video. But yeah, I think that was it. You said you had a second trick.
Yeah.
If this goes well, we'll do that on Monday. We'll do another video.
Cool. Yeah.
Don't tell me what it is, because I genuinely want it to be something that I try and figure out on camera. And we'll upload it if I fail miserably, or if we fail miserably, because this was a team effort. It was like 95% me and 5%. You were there. You were there.
I was there.
You were there. No.
Like a fart.
So there you go. Do me a favour. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited to see Thomas perform this? Because I know I am. Would you like to see Thomas come up with another idea that we try and solve on the channel? Let me know. Have you got any problems that you'd like me to try and solve? I'm not saying I can. Maybe me and Thomas sit down and we try and do this every week, and he can sit there and look pretty, and I'll try and do the moves. But either way, let me know what you think in the comments.
My boiler's playing up.
Absolutely no skills outside of magic. I'm completely fucking useless. He's laughing because he knows it's true. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with another Magic Live. Thank you for Thomas for being here. See you again soon. Bye everyone.